All right, so now that these are done, we can start looking at the bottom two. And these ones are tough because we have to make sure that we've got the value spread out, but not too spread out. So what's going to go on here is we're going to start with warm colors, and I'll just, again, start with the pure hue. And I'm going to go yellow. Now let's go something a little more difficult. Let's go orange. And I don't know, let's go maybe something like that. Sort of reddish magenta there. So these are warm colors. Let's go cyan, close to cyan here, and then maybe, I don't know, something like this here. Okay, so warm on one side, cool on the other. So first part looks good. Then from here, we know that this needs to be high key. So this needs to be a really light interval here. And already I can tell you that this orange is kind of dark. It's kind of an intermediate to slightly high key color. But I want to bring that down just a bit. I want to lighten that up. Of course, what just happened by doing that is it makes it dull, which now this one here is way, way, way too bright. So I'm going to take that one down on this S slider, the saturation slider, and drop it down really low. So now we've got warm and bright. We've now got cool and dull. Problem with this though is now it is way too light. So we need to come in and figure out where our B slider, how far down can we put our B slider before it starts pulling the interval into the low key range. And I think right here is about as far as you're going to want to go. So now we've got light, bright, warm, dark, dull, cool. Same thing here. This magenta is pretty intermediate. It's really bright. It's pretty warm. I think if we just come in and do one of these where we dull this side, darken this side, drop that here, I think that's going to work really well. So similar to the above intervals, come in here, hit W, tap, tap, W, tap, tap, and there we go. So these are going to look really good because it's, well, this one's starting to get a little low key, but we'll check that in a second. But this one here, definitely going to be a low key interval here. This is intermediate. This is really low key, bright, light, warm, dark, dull, cool. Now this one here, as I mentioned, it might be getting a little too dark. So what we can do is use the eyedropper tool to select that color, make sure we don't actually click on it. Maybe lighten it up just a little bit and just drag it in there, and you'll see that it automatically fixes that for you. Could go even a little bit lighter, I think. And there we go. As long as we don't design too much on this side of the interval, as long as we don't use these colors too much, you should find that something like this works pretty well. And then finally, just as far as how to apply these to the next assignment, you can select all of them and then go under Object, where are you, Group, or Blend rather, and Expand. Okay, so Object, Blend, Expand. And what that does is it takes each of these and breaks it apart. Now you'll see it still shows up there, so then what you have to do is select them all, Object, on Group. Okay, now at that point, each one of these, once you're satisfied with where you're at, each one of these is its own color, and you can use those however you see fit. So anyway, hopefully that gets you a little on your way there. But as you're working on it, remember, always want to have the relatively warm color over here, the relatively cool color over here. It needs to be darker, duller over here, lighter, brighter over here. By doing that, it's going to line up with the reading on color depth a lot better. You're going to have all three characteristics of color sort of playing into your design. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Let me know.